Okay, call the meeting to order. And at 6 p.m. on July 31st, 2023. Roll call. Jacqueline? Here. Hollis? Here. And Maria? Here. We have a quorum. Oh, okay. Gail McClellan could not make it tonight, and Barnaby Cox could not make it. Announcements. Thank you. Oh. Announcements. Does anybody have an announcement? Commission? No. Okay. Public comments. Darius Aron. Is it Aron or Aron?
I've only doing comment for dinner.
Okay.
Oh. Good afternoon. How much time would you like me to use?
You have 3 minutes.
Got it. So my name is Darius Aron, and you received from me this morning through Warren a packet on what we're looking to do with 401 Main Street. I apologize for not being able to get it onto the agenda tonight, but we got our designs very late over the weekend. Our goal is very simple. We want to help by filling a very empty building that's sitting vacant, that doesn't look that great. And we'd like to add something here to Blanco. The proposal that we put together, I don't know if you've seen, but if not, I can approach and share with you some of these elevations. I have these in color, if you want to pass these down. Because black and white is very historical, but not very exciting. And what we are aiming to do is bring a non-historic building that's in the historic zone up to the look and feel of the town square. We're replacing a very simple awning with a nicer awning. We're one of the few buildings that has green space associated with it, so we look to enhance that and leave it there. We'll remove a very tacky awning that was in the back of the building, which used to be parking. And we intend on just making it very pretty and aesthetically pleasing. My goal is to bring it before you as a way of trying to expedite things. So that, just so you know, this is the old Honda National Bank building. So this is what used to be Texan Bank, is now nothing, empty 70s looking bank. And so our goal is to kind of take what was a 70s era building and kind of make that mid-century look more appealing. And as you can see, kind of pull from some of the buildings here in town, adding a little bit of cedar, adding color to the rock, improving with outdoor dining, and generally giving a place for kids and our families to hang out. You know, it's walking distance from high school. It's a pretty cool thing. We're looking at food and beverage. So my goal and respectful request is, if at all possible, to do maybe a special meeting between now and next month, so that way I can close escrow on this building, knowing that I have the blessing of you fine people here in Blanco. So we can start moving forward on occupying this and make it pretty for us all. So I'm looking for your opinions and your ideas and whatever.
So let me ask you, Renee's buying this place?
No, ma'am. This is me. This is me and my partner. We're GLD Hospitality, and we're looking to put our first/second location here in town. Cool. And we're self-funded. We're not taking out finance. So it would be something that would stay here in the community for years to come.
Well, you can get financing locally, but that's cool.
True. We don't need to.
So this is Hondo Bank.
This is Hondo Bank.
And Old Cornelis.
And Old Cornelis, yeah. And way back when, it was the site of the Stagecoach.
Yes.
It was the site of the Stagecoach.
Are they all the same? They're all okay.
And so the idea is to fill in the 70s looking stone with either a cedar or a pine or something that has a little character, and give a place for people to sit outside, as well as.
Are they gonna sit along 281?
No, ma'am, no, along, Main Street, along, Fourth, rather. So that's the idea. It's pretty simple. We're not looking to do anything crazy, but just enough to make it aesthetically pleasing because it's square adjacent. So even though many people don't consider it part of the square, it's kind of part of the square. And so it'd be nice to do something fun with it.
And aren't your setbacks kind of steep there along from Main Street to where the sidewalk is? It doesn't seem like it's pretty narrow there, right? Of course. Yeah.
If you look at, the side elevation, which is right here, you'll find that there's quite a bit of grass and room for shrubbery. And then on the other side, there's quite a bit of room that they've also taken up with shrubbery. And we look to keep the nice part of 281 and the dining area on the back side or the front side, if you will, that's on the board. Anyways, it's taking an eyesore and turning it into something really nice.
It's kind of cute building.
It's cute, but I think it was I think they missed the mark, right? Like if you look at what Blanco National Bank did back before it became TRB, it was just this kind of bare wall with the door. And now they added that awning, and I think we can all agree they enhanced what the initial design was. And that's kind of what we're looking to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darius.
Thank you.
Doesn't look real historic, you know.
That,
Century modern,
which is,
are we considering
1970s.
the seventies, mid-century or the seventies?
I guess, it's a year
Historical?
ago. I don't think so.
I'm
but-
not gonna comment on
I
that.
think
Yeah.
the site is historic, right? I think that's the beautiful thing is the site is historic.
And it's in historic
And it's in the
district.
historic district, therefore I get to visit with you on, but it is not historic in and of itself. And it's been a hodgepodge. If you look at what they've done there, they've added things, patched things, and it's like layer on layer on layer on layer, and our goal was to try to peel it back. I mean, you don't really care if you think about the inside, but we want to make the inside a little bit more appealing, the outside more appealing, and make it a place that we can enjoy.
Wendy, do you have something to say?
I was just asking, have you submitted a COA?
Yes, we have.
We have it.
Yeah,
So,
So that's something you'll see at your next meeting because that was submitted today.
Yeah.
And the one comment I'm gonna make is I think we talked last couple of meetings, that we have a little bit of money set aside from hotel motel taxes to hire, Mr. Rudy Nino. So if that was okay with y'all.
yes,
When this gets through, he'll be reviewing that and not me.
okay,
And I'll supervise it.
we would like that.
Yes, he's.
Okay, so, do you have anything else you'd like to add, Darius?
No, if you have no questions for me, I'll sit down and lay out.
Okay, thank you so much for your comments. And thank you for the notes. Okay, new business.
we also have the minutes.
Oh, the minutes, Lori, oh. Okay, the minutes. Okay, did everyone have a chance to review the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second? I second. Minutes approved. Monday, June 12th. Okay. New business. Consideration, discussion, and take action on assignment of chair, vice chair, and secretary for new two-year term, July 1st to June 30th, 2025. July 1st of 2023. Okay,
I make the motion that, that Maria Mathis Cruiser be chair.
do I have a second? Okay, Hollis makes the motion that Maria Mathis Cruiser becomes chair of Historic Commission, and Jacqueline seconds this. We're going to discuss motion. Is there any discussion? Yeah, I think it's good. Okay, let's see, we want to, okay, now we're gonna vote on it. Didn't we just vote?
Well, we have to discuss and then you.
Oh, okay, so we discuss it, so do, okay,
There was
so
a discussion, no dissent.
is there a vote on?
Wait, no,
Maria's-
I think you're good. The
Oh,
vote
so we
already
did-
happened. You just have to have the discussion.
Okay, so
and
we
then you
did
go
that,
forward.
oh, okay, so we voted, so we're done. All right, now we need to modify,
Vice Chair.
oh, okay, okay, you want to make the motion for that?
I make a motion to make Pam the vice chair. Perhaps.
I second. Motion passed to make me vice chair. Is there any discussion?
You want to be vice chair.
Yes, I will. We talked about that. We're good. Okay, we need to modify the motion, modify the discussion.
No, we're good.
We're good?
The vice chair. So now we'll say we're gonna make a motion to table secretary.
Okay,
We haven't done, we don't have someone right now to be a secretary because Barnaby and,
So you table that.
yeah, so we're gonna table it.
okay, someone want to make a motion to table the, discussion and vote for secretary.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I make a motion to table the discussion for secretary and vote for a later date.
I can second. Okay, Maria Cruiser makes the motion to table the,
We also have to go around, they all in favor after.
oh, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. To table. Okay, right? Okay, then, consideration, discussion, and take action on assignment of 2 to 4 long-time residents of the area to serve as advisors, historians. This is something that I thought we already did. What?
She's been elected to be chair.
Yeah, you want to go, would you say, Warren, I just go ahead and take it over?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, we're gonna have a discussion on and take action for the assignment of 2 or 4 longtime residents of the area to serve as the advisors, historians on the local historic matters for a 2-year term. Have people that want to do that?
We had people, and we would now have to,
People.
now we would have
And
to,
so the ones that have served have been the previous chairs. So Joan Elhaus and I have been the advisors on here. And then Billie Jean, I think when she was, so there were 3 advisors that we were going to get.
And
We didn't have a 4th one, so we have another 4th one now.
when do you want to be an advisor?
Yes, we,
no, Wendy.
I would, but I'm not a long-term resident here.
that's right.
And how long is the long term though, in the bylaws?
I don't know.
I don't have to
Ryan.
Justify.
He's not a long-term resident either. It really, there's a reason for this. That's why it was put in here when it was put in. So I would go by what it says.
Yeah, but if
A
there's
long-term
no
resident.
He's been here for about 11 years, but I don't know if that's considered a long time.
No, he doesn't want to be. Is that what you're talking about?
I thought
I didn't know he doesn't want to
Well, he stood up and talked to all of us and nominated himself to be that.
be at this point. But during the time, during the year, you can always add one.
Okay.
Yeah, when we find enough, you can always add.
So right now, it's you and Billie Jean and Jonelle.
General.
Okay.
And they're all from here, originally from here. Or here.
Mhm.
Yeah, but if Wendy wants to, and we don't have, okay. I would
Yeah,
say
but we
don't
have 3.
We have 3.
Okay.
We don't have, we've all, for years, we had only had 2.
I'm
We
just
don't
saying,
have to have all 4.
2 to 4. So I wasn't sure if there was anyone else that wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I think we might want to consider what the what's considered long-term.
So maybe we should table that.
Yeah, I'd say what we can I mean, because that's the bylaws, and it's not specific in the bylaws.
Yeah, I didn't think it was, but I would go ahead and table if you don't know. because-
Yeah, I have the bylaws, and it has no, like, determination of long time.
1.11 is the ordinance, and it's in the
Yeah,
ordinance.
we've got that.
Yeah, but it is, it doesn't have a date between, okay, you're considered a longtime resident after 5 years, 10 years, 20
No, it
years.
doesn't.
So that's why we're gonna table it. Because we need to determine the bylaws before we can determine what is considered a longtime resident. Say if Brian wants to do it, we can't consider him until we know what the longtime resident is considered. So I make a motion to table the, business of electing or signing for 2 to 4 of the advisors that are residents.
I have a question. Okay, the 3 that are on there, they have to stay on there?
They can, but if we want to put another person on,
We have to, okay.
that, and I really want to clarify in the bylaws because the vagueness of the bylaws is
Okay.
kind of difficult.
So the 3 are still advising.
Yeah, they'll still be there until.
For 2 years.
Yeah, because you're still, it's kind of been 2 years.
That's what I meant to.
What was the part?
That's what it's meant to be.
Yeah, but I was asking if from the 2 years, when did the 2 years?
And
For
this
you
X in June, when y'all changed,
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
okay, I didn't, but we didn't vote on it, so we're tabling it and they aren't that yet,
Okay, we'll just come back to that.
because,
You need your microphone up there.
Well, I can
Yeah,
tell you,
that's not
But you've got all your stuff. She's got all her stuff here.
am I allowed now?
Yeah.
I think, I think,
You're not,
I'm sure it's picking up.
you know, in case anybody wants to.
I'm sure it's picking up.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it,
because it's hard to hear when you're on the Zoom thing,
Okay,
just so you know.
I can move this one.
That's good, thank you.
well, I'll second that motion that we table the advisories until we clarify what the law.
any discussion? Let's have a vote. The motion passes. Next on new business. Approval of the budget for the fiscal year 23 to 24. So consideration, discussion, and possible action. If we are happy with the current budget, which is in front of you, we're reusing 2022 to 23's budget. Lauren, does it roll over if you don't use all of it?
So it doesn't, let me talk about what's in the city budget for you versus what you want your budget to be and a
Yeah.
possible solution, I'll say. So Councilmember Moses had requested $3,500. I expect that to pass. I don't run the council, so you never know. Someone might add it or subtract it, but right now we're 3,500. I guess the question I have for all of you is, we looked at using top budget of things before, and the certificate of appropriateness. We can hire someone for things that historically been used hot funds. So the question is, what specifically are your markers? Because if we can prove that puts heads in beds, if it's like actual directional to different things, we might be able to use something other than the general fund money. So if you want to kind of mention what that is, and I'll try my best.
Okay, do we know what the,
Well, one thing that hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll have the portraits of Blanco, and we'll have to have money to print that. And, I guess it's on how many we print. I think last time when we originally it was gonna cost us like $15,000 to $2,000.
okay, were there any others that y'all we're considering right now?
The pamphlet?
the pamphlets, but that's on there at 800. The one I would put forward is the subscription for transcribing. So there's an app that if we do any interviews for people, it'll transcribe for us. Yeah, it is a lot of work to transcribe.
And let me ask you, it's more like the producer moment, would that be something that we could do with a secretary? With the minutes and?
No, this is specifically for interviewing like people. So if Greta has something to say about a story that we want written down,
Okay.
we interview her and record it. So we have the recorded version, but we also have the written transcription.
So how do we get the written transcription from that?
When you go ahead.
I'm sorry, Pam, but I bought one of those programs last year and that's how I did my secretary stuff. Was I recorded it here, it transcribed it for me, I cleaned it up and I sent it to you. So yes, it can be used for a secretary and it's like much more
I
simple.
think we might ought to consider that because secretary is a hard position to fill on the historic commission and it's an undervalued, but highly sought position here.
It's a multi-function.
Yeah, and also put forward.
Is that all they do though?
Pardon?
Is that all the secretary does though? Is this a minute?
No, but that would be helpful if we don't have someone filling that
It would
position
help
for a while.
But I would also really highlight that if we want to record residents to speak about the history, that we have the recording, but we also have a written version of the recording because that is, I've done a lot of transcription and it is a lot of effort and work. So I think that would take a lot of that effort. And
I
work
think
out.
that would be great.
So we would have to do research on if we use the same transcription service, we have to do how much it was gonna cost per year, or if we wanna find a different one, because there's other options of using a live person versus a kind of AI. So sometimes the AI isn't always correct and you have to clean it up versus a live person that's always correct. You know, you still have to listen to it, but it's not the same sort of thing, I guess. So that's something I'd probably put on there. But we want to do research on which transcription service, unless we use Wendy's. I'd also see here we've got pamphlet, flyers, and booklets as a cost in there. But I want to say that not just the transcription, but there's like software. So if we're using specific software to create the pamphlets ourselves, that's something you might want to consider depending on like PDF. Like it's a subscription service. So I'd want to see what other subscription services we might need for the council, the historic commission.
And I recommend one that you, or sure, NAPC, you need NAPC.
Okay. So, we don't have a secretary, so I'm just gonna write that down.
So Lauren, can I ask you, the 3,500, that's total budget that he recommended for us?
So, yes, last year you were, so I'll just go over the facts. Last year you were awarded a BHPC award, $2,000 for 22-23 year. You only used 435, so balance of 1,565. It doesn't roll over. And then at the last meeting, Councilmember Moses had requested the 3,500 instead of 2,000. So I had two recommendations. One, if you want to try to get more, talk to Councilmember Moses and see if he will try to add more would be one thing. And then the second thing is I will work on, and you may want to look at your notes to see if the markers or the pamphlets would qualify you for hot cones. And I think I convinced the mayor of looking at it. This is how we got the old mayor to okay paying for the COA officer or partially. So that would be a way to kind of get most of the money, not all of it, but most of the money.
Thanks.
So it looks like there's a lot of discussion left in we might have to table this one.
Mhm.
Because it's consideration, discussion, and then possible action. And it sounds like we have enough information currently to move forward with it.
Yeah, I think that that's fabulous. The ordinance of Lingo. And, yeah, those are things that we need to do.
So I am going to make a motion to table the budget. Do I have a second?
I second.
Any more discussion? Can we vote on it? Aye. The motion passes to take discussion. That is all, that concludes new business. Old business is a discussion regarding the certified local government. And then also after that, it's goals and status of former workshops. So I guess we do an overview of the certified local portion. Or do we have more information on that? All I have is.
I pick it up now.
It's in, but do you
Speak to that.
yeah, the certified local government, it's that, Retta, could you speak to the certified local government? That was the plan we're trying to finalize, correct?
The certified local government, we are a certified local government.
Okay.
Yeah, that's streetscape, or you talking about streetscape?
Well, just,
The city, we had to become a certified local government to be awarded the visionary preservation program. And the city became a certified local government in 2005. Okay, and we are certified. So, well, the training you were at, that was COG. And so that's what we followed. That's what Kelly was.
Kelly's
Do we
gonna
need to
be,
talk about anything tonight about it?
I think that would probably be what we're gonna.
Well,
talk
look,
about.
that's how it came about,
Yes.
and it's been in existence ever since.
So I would say that the discussion we're having is a training by,
She told me that you wanted to wait, not have it today.
no, it was, we were looking at, the last 2 weeks of August, the weekends.
Definitely, everybody needs to be.
Yeah,
very-
that was the
And
consensus.
there are manuals back there. I always say giving everybody a manual to go through and read on what COG is all about. So anybody who has them, I know Jackie has because I gave it to her to go through and you,
I think I have, yeah. But I would also say that,
you'll be ready for it.
yeah,
Kelly's training.
I think why we said the last 2 weekends of August, I'm still waiting to hear to confirm those last 2 weekends, which one she's gonna have. Because the other option was before this meeting. And it's very difficult to get everybody here that early. So I think, and it's gonna be a half day workshop. I don't know if you guys got that email, correct?
I think I did.
Okay, because I know Barnaby responded.
I think I did.
I don't think I did, but I can't.
It's, I'll resend it.
Okay.
So that'll help us kind of, and I'll check back in with Charlie. So that would be the discussion there. I think the action, would we have to vote on this one or is it just a discussion?
It's just discussion.
But it doesn't seem like it needs a vote right now. This is workshops. I'm the only one that attended the workshop other than Retta. The discussion of the former workshops,
I did something online.
something online? Okay.
I registered online and listened.
Okay. Maybe we could also talk about the goals for the commission that they have about our workshops that we want to attend. Discussing what workshops we want to attend and prioritize.
Okay.
So, looking into that and stipulating it and also bringing it to the meeting. So upcoming ones by various, either 501c3 that are related to nonprofit or related to historical associations or through the state of Texas. Kelly can probably give us a lot of guidance on that, I'd have to say, but that's going to be kind of a future. And that's where that one stands. And we're gonna circle back. We didn't approve those minutes, did we?
Yeah.
Okay, right. How about some committee? The committee report for streetscape and rock wall by Greta.
Okay. I don't know what we're saying. Streetscape. Okay, Streetscape is a product of the Blanco Preservation Action Plan. Blanco Historic Preservation Action Plan that is a product of the Visionary Preservation Program. And it's the same type thing as the Nice Friendly Skies with the goal in that program. And I should have brought the book out. I always bring the book out to show everybody on this. So the Streetscape, in 2007 is when that plan was finished and we started everything. But in 2009, the city gave a resolution to form a committee, a Streetscape committee, to come up with a master plan for the historic district. And so that's when it started. And then in 2000, the resolution came out then, and we formed our committee in 2010 in January. We went for 7 years and we came up with a plan for it, a conceptual plan after 7 years, and we went on hold for a couple of years, and we resurrected this in 2010. So we are at the point that on the 5th of July, we have an architect, Suzanne Pemberton, Main Street Architects, who is our architect. She also is the one that did our design guidelines back in 2010 and 11. So we met with Suzanne as a subgroup. It wasn't an official meeting. It kind of, I'm bad about this, I'm getting hoarse. I'm just going to read what's going to be in the paper, okay? Wednesday, because this will catch you up. On July 5th of 2023, a subgroup of the Streetscape Master Plan Committee met at the Byers Building in Blanco with Suzanne Pemberton. Can y'all hear me okay? Main Street Architects to discuss recent developments and the status of phase 1 of the plan. Phase 1 of the plan started at 0300 and it went right past the City Hall, and it's the east side of the courthouse. Now, we're not talking about the courthouse, we're talking about the businesses all around the courthouse. And Blanco Administrator Mark Escovine was at that meeting with us. Because of recent issues relating to TxDOT construction at the intersection of 4th and Pecan Streets, Pemberton provided insights into how these developments impact the schematic of phase 1. This is phase 1, okay? Now, I will say this real quick. At an earlier meeting, Suzanne came and met with us, and she walked with us, and so we went down that side, and she brought into phase 1 the corner of Cranberries and the corner wing of the courthouse side. So that was added into phase 1. And we have, I think you're the only one that has not seen the plans that we showed. They're back in the back, I'll get them for you. What do you call it? Conceptual plans. Anyway, her drawings. Pemberton proposed that the focus of work be adjusted to more accurately reflect the current need and thinking. This would include the schematic design for both sides of the con from 0300 corner south to Cranberries and far west enough to include the necessary accessibility to that corner that came into phase 1. Pemberton envisions an adjusted schematic design which will also coordinate with TxDOT and post-flooding issue. Pemberton added that more survey information is necessary with a holistic review of the square. During the meeting, the subgroup and Pemberton discussed the need for a survey of topographic points. Warren, did you find those out about the topography yet?
No, I mean, Randy's Hambard's supposed to give me a cost on that.
We had the city years ago, maybe Hanford, did a topo map for the whole district for Renee Benson, so we pulled it up and he's been working with that office to accurately design ramps and so on. So group also discussed whether they move into construction design for phase one. We do our schematic design for phase two, which includes Third Street to Highway 281. Instead of stopping with the phase one and going into construction, that we would finish phase two, which would be Third Street to 281. And that's what we're going to do. In addition, the subgroup discussed the historic rock wall located behind Cranberries, Antiques, and lives on the square businesses. The rock wall belongs to the city of Blanco and is in dire need of attention as its continued deterioration directly impacts the historic district. The subgroup and Pemberton agreed on the need for more information to include a new survey. The results of the meeting will be presented to the Streetscape Master Plan Committee for consideration. Okay, any questions?
I have a question. It's just gonna, in case Cranberries, it's not gonna do the old white cement shop. I mean, I wonder-
That's phase one stop there. We included the corner.
Okay,
Phase two goes to 281.
okay.
That's what, that hasn't started yet. She came up with a figure of $5,000 to finish that 281.
Okay.
So that has not been done yet.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I have been to a demo Friday and I've had a hard few days, believe me. So, but any questions on this?
Real quick, Randy mentioned we were updating, as Ray requested, the city's updating, the Sparks Engineering, report that you probably all read about the rock wall. So we've already gotten that started, but we haven't located the survey that shows the direct ownership. We're still looking at that.
I think it's over in the courthouse because,
Okay.
no, it's not. I'm sorry, that's been all. That's been all.
I'm calling Andrew.
I said, I made a mistake. I said, I thought it was filed over at the courthouse. I said, but that was Insult Park.
Yeah. I was going to cover that. Thanks for warning on that. And my next report was the rock wall. And the rock wall, I'll start at the beginning of the rock wall. Several times I had confronted through the years, I was chair for 7 years. And through the years, I had talked to the city about the rock wall and the bad condition of the sand and how it's supporting Cranberries and Liz's and all that along there. And they never would do anything about it. So Hollis was on, and I think Pam was on that too. We did in our ordinance, which is 4.11, it's the ordinance, is the demolition by neglect. In other words, you can't own something and the city owned that, or at that time we thought the city owned that. And you can't let it go and demolish because it's been neglected. So because they wouldn't do anything about it, I said, let's do a demand letter on the demolition by neglect, which we did. And we took it to the city council and the mayor. And so they came up and agreed to we asked for an engineer report. And they agreed to get an engineer. And the historic commission out of our budget, we paid half of that it was for Patrick Sparks Engineering in San Antonio. So Patrick and his team came out, and Richard Standifer used to be on our commission at that time. And so Richard and I always walked with the Sparks Engineer, Patrick and his people. All these records are back there, and so we have pulled that. Now, again, they did everything. They did the assessment, they did the figures, what it would cost and everything. And what happened is that Mayor Burden was saying she didn't believe the rock wall belonged to the city. And it took her a year before we could convince her to get a surveyor and a title policy. And at that point, Alex and I were on the phone with Randy Handbright, going through all these deeds, and he finally one day he came and said to me, he said, Retta, 38 feet doesn't belong to anybody. And then Martha came up and said it doesn't belong to anybody. But the history of Blanco, which he's going to be giving part of this on his Pittsburgh deal, James Callahan and the Pittsburgh Land Company gave 120 acres for the city of Blanco. And the reason they did it is that they knew when we, that this would be the county seat when it became a county. So it was a donation to the city. So what happens if nobody bought that, guess who that belongs to? The city, because that was deeded to the city, but then we couldn't find the record of how it was conveyed. And we spent all this time looking for the record of how it was conveyed to make sure, you know, that everything was all right. And you'll finish that in your report on Pittsburgh, right? Okay. But that's what the rock wall belongs to the city. But everything we've done is with y'all. It's a historic commission. It's not the streetscape. It never did belong to the streetscape. There was a time that the veterans wanted to take the pecan bottom over, and they wanted to make the above the rock wall like a river walk and put a sidewalk and everything in it. So they were really excited about that, but then they backed off later on. And so this time, somebody else, I think, with the planning board now had mentioned the sidewalk. The sidewalk was never a part of streetscape. Rockwall was part of the historic commission. So when this happened, I called Patrick. I said we were ready to. The city was going to be ready to pull him back into it. And so he made the statement to me, well, if we're going to do it, I would have Sue Ann do her plan. But that wasn't the streetscape plan. That was never the streetscape plan. So we have pulled Sue Ann back into it, but it is the city's. And so that's where we stand on that. That's it. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
So the committee reports will by Eric, the Pittsburgh.
I'm donating this position to James Callahan. Anyone interested in the history of Blanco needs to know who James Callahan. Okay.
Thank you for your.
I would not know that book existed if it weren't for Greta. I'll try it. We're not on.
It's not on. There it is.
Okay. I'm gonna be talking about community of Pittsburgh today. I will probably be giving some of you information you already know, certainly Hollis and Pam and Brian and Ricky. We are preparing an application for a historic marker for that community. And I'm going to read you the narrative that I prepared to send to the state to get that marker. But before I start, James Callahan, Texas Ranger, was killed in 1856 on the Blasingame Ranch in the site of 1623 in McKinney Loop in the river. That is a separate story altogether. That is part of Central Texas folklore. If you're not familiar with that, it's really something else. James Callahan was a very controversial figure. He survived the Battle of Goliad in the Texas War of Independence, 1836. Not many people survived that. He did. Became a Texas Ranger, well-known, famous Indian hunter, very influential in the state of Texas. Good friends with Sam Houston.
And back in those days, the Texas Rangers were basically a law unto themselves. They had to be. You know, this was part of Coleman County then. All the law and everything that ran this part of the hill country came out of New Braunfels. And the people that lived in New Braunfels at the time were educated, German background, a bit liberal, and the people that lived in Bureau were like James Callahan. Okay, now back to Pittsburgh. Before any substantive, I'm going to read you the narrative basically with some additions. Before any substantive community in Blanco County was established, this locality, which we know today as the municipality of Blanco, was known as Martin's Fork. It wasn't a town, it was a few ranches. It's called Martin's Fork. The area was first settled in 1853 when Captain James Callahan and his friend Eli Hines built houses on the north bank of the Blanco River. And they built them there in Pittsburgh. In 1854, another veteran, John D. Pitts, joined Callahan, A.M. Lindsay, F.W. Chandler, and William Jones in creating the Pittsburgh Land Company, designed to try and attract settlers to this little piece of land that they were developing. These early trailblazers started building homes in that area, and the nascent community was named Pittsburgh after General Pitts. Now, Captain Callahan was instrumental in this effort as he had purchased the league of land originally granted to Horace Eggleston by the Spanish government of Coahuila y Tejas in 1835. He was an impresario. Y'all remember Stephen F. Austin and the impresarios. Eggleston was granted a total of 1 league of land equal to 4,200 acres, muscle mills, more or less. Callahan was a Texas Ranger and well known in Texas, whose death in the 1856 classic in Callahan tragedy continues to play a vital role in the history of both Blanco and Pittsburgh. The new community of Pittsburgh was laid out on the banks of the Blanco River, where it is today, the same location that is now the neighborhood. On October 25th, 1855, the Pittsburgh Land Company held a barbecue in Pittsburgh in an effort to attract settlers. And they got quite a few. Numerous lots were sold, almost all on credit, which was normal at the time. We had a cash poor economy. As Pittsburgh started to grow, the Methodist Church was established, the Sonic Lodge, a number of German immigrants moved into the community, and by 1857, began to resemble a small town. Following the death of James Callahan in 1856, Sean right out here, his estate included 22 acres left in Pittsburgh that had not yet been sold, and 403 remaining acres of the Eggleston land survey. As his will reached probate, creditors on the estate outnumbered collectible debts. In February 1858, the Texas legislature created Blanco County. And the executor of Callahan's will donated 128 acres of that remaining Eggleston survey of Callahan's, because it was in his estate. He was dead and they were trying to settle his debts. They donated 128 acres for the new county seat. Okay. There's a lot of question as to why the executor didn't push for Pittsburgh to be named county seat. Instead, had to do with settling some of the debts. This executor was having to take care of Callahan's kids, and he needed money and some backroom deals. And then at the end of the day, the historic district, including the rock wall, was part of that 128 acres that were donated from Callahan's estate for the creation of the town of Blanco. So Pittsburgh Land Company gave birth to Blanco. And I don't know how many people know that. I just know Pittsburgh has a little piece over there on the other side of the river. Okay. The last 22 acres of the land in Pittsburgh was left to be sold by the estate. Former residents of Pittsburgh include the mother of LBJ and the Blasingales. lived there to, before they bought a piece of land up from Callahan next to his range. A personal disagreement between Callahan and Blasingame led to the violent confrontation, first at the Blasingame cabin and later at the home of the Justice of the Peace down in Middletown, which is now Clinton, when they drug out the two Blasingames and shot vigilante justice. Because they didn't think that the courts in New Braunfels would give them a fair trial. They thought they would let the Blasingames go, and that Callahan's death would not be given proper process. So they vigilante justice. They drug them out. 100 ranchers from up here got together and drug them out and killed the Blasingames. But it's all in that book there. A lot of conflict between New Braunfels at the time before this was a county and the ranchers up here. As Blanco began to grow, businesses arrived wanting to locate in a new county seat. But Blanco didn't actually annex the town of Pittsburgh until 1950. And Blanco, Pittsburgh was still incorporated until 1950 when it was annexed. So Pittsburgh gave birth to Blanco, and then the child ate them all, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that in 1858, the Pittsburgh Land Company donated 128 acres for the establishment of Blanco. In 1854, the Methodist Church, which doubled as the first schoolhouse in the area in Pittsburgh, was established by famous circuit rider Daniel Rawls. In addition, the first Masonic Lodge was there in Blanco County. The first store was opened in Pittsburgh by Louis Zork, but he moved it to Blanco in 1860 after it became the county seat. And the first post office, which was called the Market Store Post Office, was in Pittsburgh. So these are some of the little details. I have to tell you, the information about 128 acres, I read it and I dug through the probate information for Callahan's estate. And it is,
That's it.
and you have to dig through it because it took 20 years for them to eventually settle it. I mean, the Civil War was right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And we all know Blanco County was one of the 2 or 3 counties in the state that voted state of union. Comal didn't. A lot of conflict and, between the two. So that's a bit of the history about Pittsburgh. The narrative reads a lot cleaner than what I just read, so forgive me. One last little interesting point, I mentioned this to Dan earlier, about the Blasingames. I was looking at Retta's genealogy, and we all know Retta is related to just about everybody, in one way or another. I went back and found her grandfather 6 times removed, and noticed that one of his sons had married an Elizabeth Blasingame. So then I went down the maternal line, and Retta's great aunt, 4 times removed, is Elizabeth Blasingame, direct descendant of Woodson and Calvin Blasingame, who were killed for the Blasingame. So Retta is a Blasingame.
He's a black gang.
That was a surprise that
That
made
is kind of amazing.
By the
It's pretty
way,
incredible.
he found this,
I love it.
where he actually deeded it over in this book. That's where he found it.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah, that's where I started.
That took, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I started. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary.
That was very interesting. That was.
I think that concludes the committee reports.
I'm not on to report, but a question about the Facebook.
I have some.
Thank you. I'll leave it to you.
So I don't know if this will count really worded by the chairman, but I wanted the agenda for next time, possibly just have a discussion, a quick discussion this time, which is someone else taking over the Facebook page that Wendy has been running. She has 2 Facebook pages that she's going with right now, which should be a lot of work. We might want to look at who wants to do that.
Oh, I'm not. Whether I can.
So there's two Facebook pages. One of them is the Blanco Historic Preservation Commission Facebook page. And that's more general information, the commission kind of pushing information out to the community and different things. The second, and that's the one Roxanne started. The second one I started, it's remembering Blanco's history and heritage. And that's the one where I post stories about Blanco, historic stories. And as I say, there's two. I don't want to run the first one, which is more y'all's kind of venue, but I would like to continue doing the Remembering Historics Blanco and its heritage. So that's just my 10 cents, like, it's just out there, that is yours.
So do we have a discussion on something on that? Kind of maybe who's getting voted off the island? Maybe.
Hard. Computer. Brian, do you know?
Pretty good with computers and
Yes.
stuff, so that might be something.
That might be something that he.
If he worked out.
So we're definitely gonna bring that back up to our next meeting. I'll
Yeah.
try to put it on the agenda.
Yeah.
So that would be chair.
Okay.
I'd like to. All right, so I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 6:57 on July 31st.
Here we need to
Second,
make a
we need a
motion. I'll
second.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.